Oh shit! My bad. I'm sorry. Hold on. 1 second. There we go. Hi! Hello! Hi! Hello. 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 2 days in a row. Pew. 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 Ra. 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 Gra. Gra. We're back. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. How are we all doing? My day has been great. I woke up, did a little bit of work, went out. Dad kicked my ass at pickleball. Gra! Thank you. Hi, Blue Bottle. Welcome in. Hello, hello. Gra. I took a shower. I used my...
Hi, Yuy. You will be hearing from
Of course
my
I took a
lawyer
shower.
soon. You decreased my pay from 1 hot pocket to half.
Half?
Yuy. I
You
cannot
can
feed my
handle
infant
it.
son with this. I keep eating the half before I can feed him.
You should, like, lay off the Hot Pockets a little bit. Don't you care about your child? Don't you care about him? Don't you weigh, like, almost 300 pounds? You can use a little bit of weight loss, don't you think? Anyway. Thank you. Macro, thank you very much. That's really sweet. Thank you. Guys, you remember what I had to... I mean, obviously, those of you in the Discord server can see my name right now. I have received 2 messages so far about how off-putting... No, I've received 3 messages so far from different people in my DMs about how they, like, thought I got hacked or something. You did this to me. You guys. I have to clean up after your mess. They actually thought I got hacked. They were like, what the fuck is your name? Hi, Smasher. Welcome in. We didn't spin the wheel. I spun the wheel, and then you made the decision based on the wheel itself. So it's you. In the end. Don't point and laugh. I am sorely disappointed in all of your choices. Sorely. Sorely. Yippee.
How are you?
Hi,
this fine
Shantar.
evening, former angel with a
I'm
shotgun?
doing okay. I'm determined today. I'm determined to have a very chilled out stream. I need to stick to my schedule, but be kind to my vocal cords so that I can heal up as much as I can before my birthday. And for the upcoming future after that. Hi, Nugget. Welcome in. Hello, hello, hello. And be kind to chat too. That is optional and conditional, depending on whether or not chat is nice to me. I will be chill today. We're not gonna yell. We're gonna be good. I'm gonna be a good noodle. She just told me to die. You called me Jay. Do you understand? Do you know how hard I work to be here? Under Yuy Yapps, my one and only name? Yippee! Yes?
You're an October baby. So are me and my brothers. WTF.
It's not a WTF, Pyre. There's only 12 months in the year.
What?
Thank you. What? What? Off to a great start. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. No, Macro, we're not doing karaoke. Unfortunately, not for the foreseeable future until I get considerably better. Statistics are crazy. Statistics on what? Do tell. Sorry, I saw the Fortnite dance and I don't think I can do it. Not with my arms only. Wait, maybe I'm cooking? I'm trying to do a floss, but I don't think it's coming off that way. It looks like I'm like pulling a boat to shore, you know? Rah, 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 rah. Hi! Hello! Hi, Isaac. Welcome in. Tugging. Rah, rah. You look fidgety? I am fidgety. Rah, rah, gra. Gra emote? Gra, gra, gra. Anyway, I'm doing good otherwise. I'm still really happy that yesterday went well and you guys seem to like it. I'm very, very happy about that. I'm like actively thinking about what I can do to do more stuff like that. Can you pretend to throw a fishing line? Of course. Like that, right? If you have a rod, you would throw it back and then go like into the ocean. Right? Right? Thank you. Looks like a wand. Hua! Hua! Is that better? Hua! 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 What else did I do? I have the trading card simulator game that I think Tack recommended it. I got it. Hi! Hi, Rat! Hello!
Are doing so as well.
Hello.
Anyways, remember to use code YO for 10% off your gamer subsorder and that
Or don't intake caffeine at all. You know, that's always an option. You don't have
for
to
anyone who is wondering.
enjoy, Rat. Take care. Thank you. It's really nice. It looks really nice. The reviews are very good. I've only ever been into Pokemon cards as an 8-year-old though. And back then I think Pokemon cards in grade school were my first experience of like class inequality because all of my friends in grade 3 had more and better and like newer cards than me. You know, I had some Pokemon cards back in the day that I literally like imported over from China like as a kid, so they were in Chinese. They were a little bit different. I didn't even really understand Pokemon, but I thought they were cute, and once I found out that I had classmates who were into it, I was like, wait, I have that. I want to be cool. I want to fit in. I'm gonna bring my cards to school too so that I can join in the fun. And we can go over our cards together. No, it didn't go that way. They bullied the shit out of me. They were like, those are fake. What the hell is that? What the hell are those characters? Chinese isn't real. You're from China. Those aren't real cards. See the color on the back? It's the yellow on the Pokemon with the stroke on the outside. It's supposed to be blue, but your colors are different. You are invalid. Go back where you came from, bitch. And I was so sad about it. I took my cards home. I remember burying them in the corner of my little closet, and I never touched them again. Until we moved. Can you imagine? Literally 9-year-olds. Because I was like my birthday was later in the year, like 9-year-olds pointing out that your cards are fake to them. And like, I don't even know to this day, I don't know if those cards were actually fake or not. I think they were just created differently. I don't know. They were like, the texture of your cards are different. You see, our English cards are harder. They're like more thick. They don't bend as easy as your cards. And I was like, okay, guess I'll kill myself.
Blasphemy. Back then we had Yu-Gi-Oh cards instead. Pokemon was on the 3Ds.
There were people who were very into Yu-Gi-Oh as well.
Oh my god, children are terrifying. Literally denying an entire
Yeah,
ethnicity
China
just
isn't
to
real.
bully
So I don't think they meant for it to be racist, but they were definitely discriminatory. I loved Yu-Gi-Oh though. I loved Yu-Gi-Oh 5D. That was the sub-franchise that was running when I was growing up, and everyone was so into it. You say, yeah.
Yippee!
So half of your chat and you aren't real? What the hell are we then?
What? Thank you. My favorite monster is I remember. What is it? The Black Rose Dragon? That was the card that I really irrationally desired when my age was in the single digits. I wanted the Black Rose Dragon so bad. I wanted to like literally work for it. I was willing to like do homework to get that card from somebody. I remember Bakugan. I never got into it. I was more into Beyblades. I personally thought that mechanically Beyblades were cooler than Bakugan. But I had a few Bakugan that like boys would like give me. Like my parents would buy me toys, but you know, when they had one that they didn't really like anymore, they would give it to me and I would treat it like it was like one of the crown jewels on the Queen's head in England. Yes. I loved those like cool toys growing up, and like those collectible cards and anything that gave you clout among your like cool classmates. I love them so much. Who is Zebra_9? Thank you for the follow. Fuck you.
Yippee!
I played with my Beyblades as an adult, ripped too hard with adult strength and they exploded.
No! Dash, they could have been collectibles. If you didn't break them, you could have given them 10 more years. You could have sold them on eBay for 10 times the price. Should have been more careful. Thank you. Did Yuy have her Sailor Moon vase? No, I didn't. Remember that like Barbie, like Pegasus princess wand that I told you about? That I like was traumatized by because I did everything for like a week and Girly did not give it to me at the end of the week and I cried. After that incident,
No.
Shut up! After that incident, I was never, ever really into like physical Barbies or like girly toys ever again. From then on, it was browser video games, like trading cards, and like boy toys. Hi, Sleepy. Welcome in. The franchise as a child that I was by far the most into beyond Pokemon was Bionicle. God, I've and I never owned one, but I followed the Lego website. I played all the games. I played like all of the like movie clips that I could find on YouTube. I played the like animated music videos that they produced. Creo Shell, sorry, Shelf's Kiss. But I never owned one because they were so freaking expensive. Legos are so expensive. Anything under the Lego brand is like, you gotta be at least middle class for that shit. I was so into the lore that was accessible to me because I couldn't like find the books and the movies, not even like at the local library. I was obsessed with the mask designs. Absolutely obsessed. I loved the... I think it was kind of like my budding into being in love with horror, because the regular like matanui like on ground weren't that interesting to me. What was really interesting to me was like the far more like dystopian underwater city.
Blimey, Bionicle is something I haven't heard in ages. I think I just aged another 20 years.
Congratulations on aging yourself. Dating yourself in public. Well done. Yeah, I forgot what the underwater city was called, but that was the series. That was the like subgroup of Bionicle characters that I like the most, because they were kind of desperate. Like the lore of that underwater city was desperate. Like they had to like have their resources were scarce, and whenever they had to leave the city, it was like you have to get all your resources in order and have like, even though they're robots, they have to have like their oxygen on and their masks, and it's like the stakes were much higher, and I really like that. Yeah, the fish launchers! The glowing fish launchers! And the way that they were like fighting over that underwater mask that would like allow them to basically prosper because they were that desperate. I loved that concept. I think that was formative for me, like growing up. Do you have a favorite Bionicle figure? I really like the mask of like the chosen one from the underwater city, and I also really I was like a girl into those like boy toy franchises, so wherever in a group of like male heroes, I would always be really obsessed with that like 1 in 5 female character, because I felt like represented in some way as a kid, you know. The Mask of Life, yes! Yes! You know! Thank you. Yes! That was my favorite figure by far. Like, the silhouette and the face of that figurine is permanently ingrained into my brain. Thank you, Slapple. Oh, when I was a teen, I took badminton lessons, and I was like 12 or 13, and there was a guy in my class who was 17 years old. I think he was in grade 12, about to graduate. He was a Bionicle collector and also an artist, and I had a huge crush on him because he was such a nerd. He would bring his like Bionicles, and this was like years later. This was by the time that Bionicle as a franchise, as a toy franchise, was already basically defunct. Like they were no longer being sold. Wherever he was getting his figurines from, he was probably some like rich kid who was getting them off of like eBay. Anyway, he was an artist, and like he would arrive like early for badminton lessons, and he would bring parts of his figurines to paint during breaks. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. It changed like my brain chemistry. You should have asked him. Hey. He was about to graduate high school. I was like 12. It was a little girl crush. I just thought it was really cool. I thought it was so cool. Like that kind of devotion toward like something that you're really into. And he had the Mask of Life figurine and he was painting it. Hi Blade, welcome in. Really cute. Really cool. The people who do that kind of thing. It's so like intricate. It takes so much like attention to detail for sure. And I was jealous. I wanted it. Hi Zenas, welcome in. What is that? Keyboard slap. Yeah, sorry for that tangent. I was passionate. Like, I distinctly remember going to a Toys R Us when I was a little bit older, in my teenage years, seeing the kind of like bootleg, watered down sequel that was sequel to Bionicles in the 2010s that was meant to be more technically and like police. I swear to God, that police car comes around at around the same time every single day. I swear to God, he is using his siren to expedite his commute home. I swear to God. I have a conspiracy theory. I'm picking up on this shit. Even on the days that I don't stream, I'll be sitting at my PC doing work at like 5 p.m. I hear his ass going by. How is that possible? Isn't this around the same time every day? Like between 4:30 p.m. to like 6 p.m.? There's like every single... Am I crazy? It was a bit later yesterday. I remember it was. Weird. Interesting. Funny. Yeah, I remember being such an elitist.
Yippee!
That's just the criminals 9 to 5, they gotta be consistent too.
You know, it would be very foolish of a criminal to be that consistent, but you know, I respect the dedication. It's like a... It's like a tick, you know? Are you going to eat turkey tomorrow? We're not big into Canucksgiving. No, we don't do very much. But you know, whenever there's a stat holiday, my dad will still use it as an excuse to like go out for food. Anywho, yeah, they tried to like remake the Bionicle franchise to make it more like child friendly and marketable and like cool. I think they took a lot of inspiration from the success of like Ninjago back in the day for the marketing and like the graphic design and like the less edgy appeal that compared to Bionicle. And I was so furious about it. I was like, this shit is inferior. Mid. It's mid. It was more simple. There was less lore. There were less parts. The shapes were more like Legos, as opposed to being like a true like franchise separate from Lego that Lego happened to own. I was so opinionated about it. I love Bionicle. I loved it so much. Oh. The edge was what made Bionicle memorable? Yeah. I think the edge was also what made Bionicle interesting to an older demographic. Like the nerds. Like that guy who was graduating high school and was still playing with Legos openly. Because they were blending in to that. And like no one judged him for it either. Like no one called him like a kid for playing with toys the way that someone certainly would if he was actually playing with Lego bricks. You know, Bionicles were sick because they were in that at that middle point between like something Lego-like and like an actual collectible figurine that you were meant to build yourself. It was more. Did you watch any of the movies? I watched so many clips and never had like a solid understanding because I couldn't find the movies anywhere. Like my parents were not going to buy them for me. I couldn't find them pirated off YouTube. I was 8 years old. Hi, Thai. I think he might be into Warhammer figurines now. Yeah, who knows? Or it could have totally been that like after 17 the dude had like his adult awakening and got into like anime women. You know, it's so funny. I went like I'm like a lot of like not like a lot, but I grew up attending a lot of like family friend parties, like house parties of all these middle-aged parents and their kids, and I was usually like the youngest one of the bunch. Only because like it was my mom not working, and she would like obviously make friends who were around the same age as her, but she had kids later, so later than average, so like I was often the younger person among the other kids, and because of that I had a little bit of a hard time like making friends because, you know, everyone else was a little bit more mature than me. That's not the point. The point is, a few families that I remember attending the parties of, they had like teenage sons who I would look forward to meeting. Because like, oh my god, fellow kids, you know, at least I'll have someone to talk to and play around with while I'm there. Me as my like incredibly naive like 12-year-old self going there, and those boys would not leave the room. And if I snuck into their room, I remember seeing like on their bookshelves like books and books of like Bleach and Naruto, and then in like glass cabinets the biggest tits I had ever seen on a cartoon woman. And I did not realize at the time that those figurines were like hundreds of dollars. I would stare at them in like awe, and I didn't get it. I genuinely didn't understand. I would stare at the boobs and I would just be like, why are they so big? Why is there so much underboob? Why is the skirt that short? It doesn't make sense. Wouldn't that be uncomfortable? That girl looks like she has a wedgie. This lady is positioned in an anatomically impossible position. It looks like it hurts. Is there anyone on this planet with a rack that big? Like, I had these actual thoughts going through. Like, I literally did. Yeah, exactly. I genuinely did not understand. Probably absolutely fishmen. I'm absolutely sure there are. Like, I genuinely did not comprehend the male gaze whatsoever. I was undeveloped. I did not understand that boobies were attractive. I only understood boobies as the thing that fed infants and which I hadn't grown yet. And you know, after that, I never quite did, but that's like another issue, and we're not gonna go into that. Like, I remember also, like, first getting into Bleach. Like, my first, like, mature shonen anime. And my first, like, more mature anime period. When I was, like, somewhere between 10 to 12 was when I first got into Bleach. And, like, I remember seeing characters like Orihime and...
Yippee!
I thought boobs
In
lets you
this
float on
Matsumoto?
water, so I always blame myself for not having boobs every time I drown.
Oh, that's so funny. Did you know only women can float? And you know, the flat women don't count. It's okay, Whaley. I'm right there with you. If you drown, I drown too. Hi, Tarn. Welcome in. Hi, Marin. Hello. Hi, officer. Welcome in. Anywho, I remember first like viewing those orange-haired characters, and one of the things that I thought back in the day was, what? Like, I didn't get it. Like, if you've seen Bleach, like, Orihime and Miss Matsumoto, they both have orange hair. You know, one of the things that I genuinely wondered, because, you know, I hadn't seen a lot of people in real life with orange hair. Like, I didn't know it was a design choice. I thought the artist was trying to be, the designer and the artist was trying to be, like, true to life. I was, like, under the impression that redheads genuinely had bigger boobies. I thought that was the reason why they had big boobies. I thought Mr. like, what's his name? Mr. Kubo? I thought he Yes. I thought he was just trying to like pay the appropriate respect to women with naturally orange red hair, and they just like have big boobies. You know what else I noticed? I was like, oh, Renji, he's got red hair. He's got pretty big boobs for a man. Maybe. I was 10. I was 10 years old. You're ridiculous. Yeah. What would blue hair imply? I pondered over that as a child. I was like, why do anime characters have impossible hair colors? Why is that a thing? Isn't it a pain for the character to have to dye their hair? And then I swear to God, I remember my first time ever seeing like the backstory of an anime character and seeing them born with like blue hair, and I was like, holy fuck. and then look what happened to me. Look what I became. The irony is incredible. Hi Katsu, welcome in. I have a Peepo Brazil emote on 7TV just for you. How much do you spend on hair dye? I don't spend any money on hair dye. I go out in the dead of winter every single December. I find puddles that are covered in motor oil and I rub my head in it. I bathe in it like I'm some border collie who's had way too much to eat in the morning and hasn't gone outside for a week. I go and that's my yearly hair dye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your dinner, Zerpo. Oh yeah. But before I move on from the whole like figurine thing, right? Like, I was like so curious, like why those figurines had boobies like each individually the size of a girl's head, like each, like especially I know now that some of those figurines were from One Piece, like they were definitely One Piece characters. So you know exactly like how skewed my perception of that anatomy was, like how extreme it was in being exposed to that for the very first time. I was like, why? Yeah, I didn't get it. There was one time at another house, there was also another like, I think like adult son who also collected very explicit like anime women figurines, but he was more into like mecha. I know that now because there were a lot of like girls in like those like more like cybernetic, I don't know any franchises, but like big boobies still exposed, but like more like techie, like shoulder plates and like Gundam titties, basically. And wow. Hi.
3 months. We.
Hi, Eagle. Thank you for 3 months. Thank you very much. Thank you. And this was a problem that I would be schooled for later. He did not have his figurines, unlike the other guy, locked in glass cages. I was so young, so I apologize in advance for all of the figurine collectors who will be very mad at me. I was in the single digits. I'm sorry. Because those girls had like the kind of like mecha-ish designs, I did not think that they were like collectibles. I thought they were like Transformers figures and I played with them. I fully played with them. I was like, like with the arms and the legs. I was like with the arms and like with the head. You know? I didn't break anything, but I was a kid. I like, and I wasn't the only kid there. Like in the playroom of that house, we both like were like, it was me and this like other boy. We were like playing with them together, and we were like going like smack, like fighting, you know. And when it was time to go, like, I don't even think like that it wasn't. I know it was an adult guy because he was out for work that day, which is why he wasn't home, and we fucked it up. And I don't even think his mother, like, knew about the value of his figurines, because what self-respecting man would talk to his mother about the cost, about how much he's spending from his income while still living at home and being dependent on parents, on big titty anime ladies in 3D, at much less the cost. I don't think he would talk to her about them at all, so she had no idea. Anyway, it was time to go, and like the hostess was perfectly fine with us just leaving them there, and she said she would clean up after them, so we just left them on the carpet and we went home. And then a couple days later, my mom was like, you can't, if we go back to the house, you cannot play with those things anymore, okay? Like, I think he got so mad, he probably like yelled at his mom, and then got his mom to like talk to my mom, and then my mom to talk to me and the other kids' parents. Yeah, at least we had our job, but, you know, like, no, in hindsight, I feel really bad. Because, you know, like, it's like, even if the owner of the house, like, tells you, oh yeah, you and the other kid, go have fun in the house, go explore, go wherever you like. You know, the other people living there might not mean the same. And I feel bad. I think it was a misunderstanding on the part of everybody involved. And I can't blame the guy with the figurines for not like having anyone else in the house know in advance, because like, even if he knew there were going to be kids over, because like if I was into something like that as a hobby, I wouldn't talk to my parents about it either. Yeah, it would have been much worse, of course, if it had anyone known for any reason. And had us like if the mom knew that her son had that expensive collection, it would have been, and said like, go do anything anyway, that would have been irresponsible. If I had known and I played with them anyway like that, I would have been irresponsible. But like, nobody knew. And I can't, like, no one can blame the owner of the figurines either for no one knowing. Oh, we were completely unsupervised. Like, it was one of those, like, adult parties where the adults were basically doing their own thing in, like, the living room and the kitchen and the patio, and they just kind of let the kids run amok, like, in the house. And, like, the kids don't really want to stay with the adults after they're done eating, so they kind of just go up to, like, the second floor, for example, and they do their own thing. Who knows? Yeah, like, they for sure, like, hosted a lot of parties. I remember very distinctly being there quite a number of times. But I guess we were the first to really do something we weren't supposed to do. I feel bad about it to this day. Because man, like, those things are hundreds of dollars. I've seen figurines that go for like 500. I feel so bad. Like, we smacked those things together like they were $10 Superman figurines. We for sure left like, probably left like little paint chips and like little scuffs that wouldn't matter to any other plastic or like polymer based toy, but not to something like that. Oh god. I'm sure he's gotten over it by now. I hope that he got promoted 10 times over, and now that it's been a decade, he's earning so much that he can go on eBay and purchase a mint version of the exact same figurine and not even look at the price. I I wish that for him, to compensate for the pain, the trauma of like what he must have endured. Like the betrayal that he must have felt from his mother. The embarrassment of having to subsequently, one, explain the tits on those figurines. Two, explain the amount of skin exposure as well. And three, having to be angry about, you know, having his room tapped into. I have empathy, and I'm sorry. Yeah, having to explain how much money you spent on them because you have to explain why you're so upset about them. Do you think if he found out a future VTuber did that, he would feel vindicated? Not necessarily. I think people who like care enough about their favorite female characters enough to the extent that they're willing to shell out hundreds, if not like thousands of dollars of figurines, if not multiple figurines of the same character. I think those men are loyalists. I think they are devoted, and I respect them for that. I don't think they would care at all about other anime women. They are devoted, and they are... Yippee! They love their anime women, you know? And that's valid. That is loyalty right there. I respect it. It's a way of life for them? Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Okay. Is that enough yapping? Enough yappage? Is it time for us to move on? More horror game? More horror game? Time? Is it time?
Yippee!
The cost of the models doesn't matter, yo. $5 or $500, it's a breach of trust. The mom didn't respect her son's privacy and the blame is mostly on her.
I suppose, I don't know, if there were kids over, I personally, and I knew they were gonna be over, I personally wouldn't mind if they like entered my room and took a look around. I personally wouldn't mind, but that's because I don't have anything like that limited edition and that like expensive like on display in the open in my room. Like they're not gonna take my anything related to the technology, like my equipment that I have in my room, and at worst they're gonna play with my bears, and I'm honestly okay with kids doing that. Personally, I would totally be fine with it. I think it comes down to what he had like in his room specifically. Because again, this was like a family who was very accustomed to hosting all the time. Like I went to their house so many times. And they that's between them. Yeah. I ba 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 ba. It's like finding the Batcave. It was for us. We got so excited. Okay. I'm gonna go pee. I will be right back. Be good. I'm excited. Where's Silent Hill? I'll be right back. Be good.